Thank you. It's really good to be here. Thank you for being here. Last week I was diagnosed with osteoporosis.
Good.
Why do you say good?
Because wherever you're standing is only a point in time where a new desire is formulating, which means you're asking. And whenever you ask, source energy answers. So you've been prompted to ask, source energy will answer, and then you'll be on to something else. So we are just celebrating the desire that is within you, knowing the outcome. Physical beings think that, oh, I hope I don't ever get into a position where I'm told something like that. And we say, then you don't know what we know, that whatever has produced the question within you has also produced the answer that will come. And so that's why we say you cannot get it wrong and you will never get it done. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. So here you are, contrast produces desire. You focus on the desire and you have manifestation, so now you have a new platform. So here you are standing here with a diagnosis that you don't want, which is contrast, which produces a desire, which source energy will answer. So because you don't ever get it done, you're never finished. It would be like being a molder of clay and understanding that the clay always stays soft and pliable. So you create something and you don't like the looks of it, and we say, no problem, mold it some more. And so you mold it some more and you say, there, that's better. But that's a little boring. So then you mess it up a little, and then you say, well, I don't like that. And then you smooth it out, and then you say, that's better, but it's a little boring. So then you mess it up, and then you say, but I don't like the looks of that. And then you smooth it out, and then you say, well, that's better. Your life really is like that, in that you get to continually chew on the contrast, which produces the desire, which source energy will answer, which you will allow. So you're just constantly evolving, constantly amending your desire. The thing that you are currently believing, a bit, not much, but a bit, it's really a big part of your mass consciousness, is that my physical body is a vulnerable thing, and once I get something that I do not want, then I'm sort of stuck with this thing that I do not want. And we say, certainly it does not have to be that way, because when you get something that you do not want, you also get a desire that wants something else that the universe immediately goes to work on answering. So it all depends on what you believe, what happens next. And so when any student in any environment asks a question, we always say, good. Because we know the asking of a question is going to summon an answer. So when you say, I've been diagnosed with something, we said, good. Because we know that that will summon unto you.
What puzzled me is that the doctor had told me before that I was at risk of it, but I didn't even
tell
believe
everybody that. They tell everybody that. You are at risk of dying, too. Did they tell you that? Everybody is standing in the category of either being cancerous or precancerous also. They would not say to you, you are cancer-free, you are risk-free. Mm-hmm. And you say, but do I have cancer? And they'd say, not yet. At least I don't think so.
But I didn't believe him. I was shocked that I had it. And I've been healthy all of my life, and so...
Are there not enormous degrees within it? What does it really mean? We'll tell you.
Okay.
Did you say to your doctor, you know, I've noticed that I'm different than when I was 2. I'd hoped that I would be able to hold myself in that place, but I moved from that and became something different. And so what we're getting at is your body is always changing, and you have the ability to allow well-being in the process or not. And there is a big labyrinth of thought. People got in it and they're all scrambling around in it, and they keep dragging other people into it, and they sort of swirl around in there together. That goes something like, once something begins, it gets worse, 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 worse. Do you know that there are people who really believe that you start out little and incomplete, and then you add unto, and you get bigger and stronger, and then you reach this sort of peak of physical perfection, and then it's downhill forevermore. This long or short slippery slide toward an inevitable crashing and burning in a heap of death. That's what's swirling around in that labyrinth. And there are people that go to school to be trained to watch for evidence of that in anyone who's silly enough to let them look. You see. Do you know that if you went for examinations, and there are all kinds of ways, they could test you in terms of brain patterns, they could test you in terms of blood flow and heart rate. The tests are endless. There are thousands upon thousands of examinations that they could utilize to see you. And if you went every hour for the rest of your life, you would get an infinite variety of readings. And then there is the big thing that we would like to say to you, which is the test is very different on a day that you are disconnected than the outcome of the test than on a day that you are connected. Do not let them clump you into a category that says this is the way it will unfold. Say, I will be the one who decides how it unfolds. I have been stimulated to a desire that is being answered that I will allow. End of subject. There's nothing else to talk about. How somebody else has evolved from that place forward. As you say, well, this is the way I see it, and your doctor says, well, excuse me, but I think that is a little Pollyanna. Say to him, Pollyanna thrived. Pollyanna lived happily ever after. And I intend to too. And as your doctor says, oh, but you don't understand. These are the statistics that we've gathered. And we say, those are statistics about other people. Those are statistics about other belief systems. Those are statistics about other vibrational countenances. Those are statistics not about me. Those are statistics that don't have anything to do with me. And he says, well, I don't have many statistics about you. And you say, well, we don't come to you. Those of us who are thriving are not looking for trouble.
I felt that I was thriving before I had this test. Before coming here, I was going to do what the doctor suggested, which is to take medication that will reverse the condition.
Well, there is not anything inappropriate with that either. In other words, as you think about taking the medication, does it make you feel better?
Taking medication has not been something that I've ever liked doing, other than antibiotics. I haven't ever taken.
When you eat food, does it bother you?
No.
When you say, I eat this nurturing food, and so can you see it as nurturing substance?
Yeah.
And so now you're in balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What made you go there to begin with?
Just to have a physical, just for reassurance.
Didn't work out very well, did it? And so, because you did not believe in your own ability to be well, and it's all right, many don't, in your environment, we certainly understand that.
But I did.
Then why did you go? In other words, if you'd really believed, you would not have needed reassurance. So there was some doubt there that you were wanting to satisfy. You didn't feel centered. You felt like you needed the process, but from your place of not feeling very good, the amplification of the process only made you feel worse. And this is the same sort of thing, isn't it? When you stand in a place of not feeling good and then you're looking outside of yourself for something to make you feel better, very often there is an amplification because law of attraction is going to match you up with things that are going to amplify what you're feeling. That's why we always say it's a much better idea to reclaim your balance and then take any action that is inspired. So We're just trying to help you understand this. There's no right or wrong in it. So from your place of wanting the reassurance that you were well and wanting to believe that you were, but not quite believing that you were, in other words, there was enough doubt within there, you went and received a reading on it. Now, there are those who would say, well, Abraham, couldn't you say that she wants well-being and for whatever reason is not in a place of well-being, and so she was guided to the experience that is leading her to the solution that she ultimately wants? And we say that is certainly another way of looking at it. We would say that your desire for well-being is the most powerful desire that is within you. It is pulsing more strongly than anything. And when you hold a vibration that doesn't completely match that desire for well-being, then there are all kinds of experiences that you may have, and each of them serves in that contrasting fashion as an amplification of desire. So you actually came out of this diagnosis with a stronger desire than you've ever had before to have physical well-being. In other words, there's more asking going on, and so there is more source energy coming. And so if you can just not let the diagnosis itself serve as the catalyst that holds you in that place of resistance, then the whole thing is a very beneficial thing, isn't it? Got you focused again. In other words, people feel irritation when we say things like, this catastrophe that has happened in New York and in Washington has summoned more energy than ever before, and your planet will benefit from it. Because sometimes they say, well, we would have just as soon done without it. We didn't need a catastrophe in order to have a focused point of desire. And we say, well, desire is always going to come forth, and it always comes from the contrast that you're living. And law of attraction is always matching it up just right. So rather than arguing with the culmination, instead take benefit from the focus that comes from it, and then do your best to get back into alignment as quickly as you can. And you can. You know how to do it. You do it all the time. You just had a personal and a global upheaval all at the same time, but both of them will serve you extremely well. Yes. Indeed. Yes, indeed.